Do you have an intangible asset category? Stories are so powerful. In life, we have been taught, by many, society in general, and our parents or friends, family, have taught us that, you know, maybe you want to leave some assets to your family. It's one of the things I coach and teach my finance clients, that if that's a desire of theirs, we talk about estate transference and what they can leave their children or what they might be able to leave their children. But it isn't always based on just assets, on numbers, because sometimes the intangible assets that we have in life is the life that we've led, the life that we have been present in, the stories beyond just the generalities of our life, the stories of some of the simple things we've accomplished, gone to a job, had a business, worked in a career. We maybe played some sports and did that. I'm talking about the stories of the specifics of our lives that need to be passed on down to our loved ones, and they pass them on too. Do you have any stories of your loved ones? Let's say a couple generations ago, maybe your great-grandparents or your grandparents themselves. Some of you have grandparents that are still surviving, and you have the opportunity to find out more about them, to find out about that intangible asset that they have, which is the stories of their lives that you might not be familiar with. So my challenge to you is, do you have intangible assets, like stories that you know about your parents, your grandparents, maybe their parents, so your great-great-grandparents, all the way down? Do you have stories that you can pass on to the others? So the intangible assets of life are those stories, or the things that you can share with people about, for example, some of the intangible assets of my grandparents who have long passed away would be their journey to get to Canada. My dad and my mom are first generation Canadians, right? So the journey of their parents coming to Canada is a story, and it's an intangible asset that to many may not seem like an asset, but to me it is an asset because it is part of my origin story. And your origin can be about from you being, you're cognizant of yourself as a young person all the way to adulthood. So the memories and stories that you have. But part of my origin is my family outside of me, my parents and their parents, and how did they get to Canada? Or, for example, my mom and dad, how did you meet? What were the specifics? What did you think about one another? What did you do in your first job, Mom? How did it make you feel? Hey, Dad, what was what made you decide to get into becoming a dealer, right? What made you decide to go to school and get your accounting diploma and be an accountant, like when you went to business college? All those sort of things that I'm thinking of right now are things that I need to sit down and gather more information from my mom and dad, who, thank God, they are still alive, that I can ask them that so that I can have that intangible asset, meaning it's not based on money, it's based on wanting to have the knowledge so that I can ensure that I can pass that down to my kids, and they pass down things about me and the intangible asset of my stories. So there's so many things that we can learn from our surviving loved ones that are still alive, their stories, to find out about where they got to where they're at right now. So I encourage you, go talk to your loved ones and find out about those intangible assets. Find out about the stories of their lives. How did they get to where they were at? How did their parents arrive if they're like my parents, which are first generation Canadians? How did they arrive in Canada? What journey did they take? What was the process of what they got, when they got here? What was it like growing up in an immigrant family? What were the struggles? What were the joys? What were their downfalls? And listen when you ask those questions and find out more about your parents And if your grandparents are still alive, ask them questions. If they've passed away, ask your parents questions about them, right? And find out about the journey of your family and the past history, because that is an asset in your life. It is defined in some ways who you are, because your parents were raised by their parents, and where they come from could have been a catalyst to why they raised your parents a certain way. And then your parents raised you a certain way because of their learned behaviors or knowledge that was shared to them or enacted upon them as they were raising up into adulthood. So it all ties together. Never discount the power of a story and what it can do for your life, what it has already done for your life, and you may not even realize it because you haven't heard the story yet. So stories are important. Reach out to those you love, your parents, your grandparents, and find out their stories. Or maybe you have somebody close in your life, a friend, and you want to know some more about them. What a great way to connect and build relationships with everybody in your life, from parents to grandparents to siblings to friends to coworkers to people you work with in business. Stories are powerful. They create connections. They create relationships. And when you are, sincere about it, people will ask you about your stories, and then you'll even have a closer connection and relationship with them, because they'll now know that you care about what their life's been like, and they'll want to know more about yours as well. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. I appreciate you listening to this, and interact. DM me, drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts about this topic of resonating with the intangible asset of stories that all our families and friends and those that we love have, and you may not be aware of. And those stories can help shape and develop a closer connection and relationship with these people. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. God bless you all. Peace out. Stay out of trouble, and I look forward to talking to you soon.